Hi everybody, it's Barbara, the pickleball fitness person, and today we're going to talk about hamstrings, hamstring pulls, and why your buns are important along with working with your hamstrings. So we're going to do bun exercises and hamstring exercises. So let's first talk about how to protect your hamstrings. One of the ways is to warm up the hamstrings before you walk on the pickleball court, and that's proactive warm-up. So you do quick little pulls, You don't have to lengthen it and hold it very long. You want to do quick ones. You want to march. Kick your leg to the back. Kick and bend your leg. Kick and bend your leg. Kind of run in place and do some sit and dink kinds of shots to get the hamstrings warmed up. If you already have a hamstring pull, like I do or did, I have a neoprene wrap. Ace bandages don't work very well. Neoprene keeps it warm and keeps it in place. I don't recommend playing with a hamstring pull, but I do recommend resting it, and then after you've rested 6 weeks or so, wear your neoprene wrap to go out and play after that and see how it works out. To prevent all this from happening, I do recommend either bike shorts for men or compression pants for men and women, especially when the weather's cold, or if you're going to play singles. So now let's get into the exercises. I have a mat on the court. I have a chair and a couple of toys that we're going to use. You don't have to be on the floor. You don't have to be on the court. You can be on your bed doing many of these exercises. So let's sit in the chair first and do our first hamstring stretch. So we're sitting on the edge of the chair, not all the way back. Now we're going to extend one leg, point the toes up to the ceiling, and make sure that this leg, the opposite leg, is at a 90-degree angle to the ground. Now all I'm doing is leaning forward. I'm not rolling my back. I'm flattening my back, and I am leaning forward and pulling my toe up to the ceiling. Okay? If you can't reach your toes and you have an elastic band, you could put something on over the toe, pull the toe back, and then try to reach. Okay? So either an elastic band, or you can use a pillowcase. Towels are kind of hard, but pillowcases work. Okay, so I've got my toe pointed to the ceiling. I'm leaning forward and stretching one of the hamstrings. You've got 3. So I turn the toe outward and I continue to lean forward, and you're stretching the outside of the hamstring. And then I turn the toe inward and stretch forward, and I can feel I'm stretching the internal hamstring, and then I go back to the center. So I hold the position, breathe out, go wide, breathe out, go in, breathe out, and then roll myself back up to a seated position. Then I stretch the other one. You never want to go into a pain zone. Hamstrings are very funny. If you try to overstretch them, when you stop stretching, they will react by tightening up tighter than they were originally. So using your breath and being very conscientious about how much strain you're putting on the hamstrings. So here again, toe is in the air, toe moves out, and toe moves in. The goal is not to round your back, but to flatten your back. And remember to hold all 3 positions. Okay. The next way to stretch your hamstrings is putting your foot on a chair. Now, most people put their foot up too high, and they are straining themselves, and they're all hunched over, and this is a very bad position. So, you want to put your heel on something lower, where you're not straining and you can stand up tall. Same thing, toe pointed to the ceiling. I'm flattening my back and leaning forward. I'm going inward and going outward and straight up. Okay. Next position, I'm going down to the floor or getting on my bed, taking my little objects with me. So I take my strap, put it around my foot either that way or this way. I straighten one leg straight out on the floor and the other leg to the ceiling. I point and flex my toes. You get more stretch when you pull your toes towards your nose. Bend and press. Bend and press. Here again, toes pointed in, toes pointed out, and then bend and stretch. If you don't have the band, go back to the pillowcase. Here I'm going the opposite leg. Same thing again, but make sure that the straight leg is hugging the floor. Point and flex. Turn it out, turn it in, and bend and stretch, and bend and stretch. Now, if you have a nice wall in your house and you want to get on the floor, what you do is put your tail feathers right smack dab against the wall. So we're going to pretend this chair is a wall. And I put my legs against the wall, and I can read a book, listen to music, talk to friends on the phone. You can do anything you want while your legs are gravitationally stretching. As your legs stretch out a little more, you move your tail feathers into the wall, and now your legs are straighter on the wall. And you keep moving closer until your legs are at a 90-degree angle and also having your tail feathers on the ground. So I'm stretching both legs at the same time. So those are the hamstring stretches. Now we're going to do bun strengthening. So let's put this on the other side. Using our chair, we put our heels on the chair, flatten the back, squeeze the buns, and lift them off the ground. And just hold. 10, 9, 8, until you get to 0, and then lower back down. Put your feet and knees together, squeeze from underneath, squeeze the buns, and lift. Hold for a count of 10 and bring it down, and then open the knees but keep the heels together. Squeeze from underneath, lift and hold, count of 10, roll back down, and then bring your knees to the chest and rock and roll. If you really enjoyed doing that exercise, which I'm sure some of you might, repeat it 2 or 3 times. So you're working on your buns of steel and you're working on your stretching for your hamstrings. When the whole workout is over, get a tennis ball, put it right under the hip or right under the buns, actually sit on it and roll it toward your hamstrings. See if you can find a sore area and then just roll back and forth to relieve the tension in your glutes or in your buns. So there we have all the hamstring stretches and the bun strengthening you need to keep yourself happy, healthy, and injury-free.